Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tilmon, and today we're going to be addressing one of my subscribers' questions. Nazan Pakalin, hopefully I pronounced that right. She asked this: hey, how can we use the gray card or color checker during shooting this technique? So if you've ever shot something and you do the ambient shot, and the technique, just to run it back real quick, first you have your ambient shot, then you have your flash shot, then you have your window pull, and then you have your what I call a whoops shot, or a just in case there's a glare on the window. In this shot we're going to have a window of doing the window pull. You don't want to flash reflecting in there and you get home and be like, crap, I wish I would have just taken one more image while I had it set up at the exact same exposure, and make your life a lot easier. So I'm going to be doing a quick video that is going to be talking specifically about this. Now on these gray cards you have a gray or you have a white. Either one works really good, but this is the most accurate. You can see in this photo right here that, and yes, I know I left this on the table. Not really worried about it, I'm not delivering it. This is just for the video's sake. You can see right here, I had a white door here. It made it pretty dang close. But we always don't have access to things like that in the middle of our shoot. You may be dealing with something that, like in my bedroom at the house, the master bedroom is, the people before us painted it yellow, the walls and the ceiling. So there's no white to bounce it off of. So when I pop a white flash off, it's going to magnify whatever color it's bouncing off of, or make it like a muddy color. So if you have some browns, like in this room, they did the exact same thing. There's no white on these ceilings. It's just the tan wall and then the same color on the ceiling. So when we sell this house, which is going to be next month or so, I'm going to have to do something to make it to where the white balance is easier for me to work with inside of Lightroom. So now what I wanted to show you, you can see I shot at 1/4 of a second, f6.3, ISO 320 at 14 millimeter. And I did zoom in a little bit. I didn't really care about the hallway. I didn't want it to go down in there. I just was doing this for the sake of the example. This is the front door of the house right here. So you can see when I clicked on this with my dropper, it got it pretty close. It looks pretty good. Just to compare the two, okay, that's the reset and that's the dropper on the white. Okay, now I have my gray card. You can see right here, I just held it up against the wall. The color that will probably have the most color pollution, that I call it, the orange lights that we have normally in houses that we shoot. I take it and I click it right there, and look how beautiful that is. Now, let's test the two. Is there any difference? Not really, but it just cleaned it up a little bit. Like, it just, there's some colors that are a little bit different, like, and it really all that it changed was the tint right here. You can see there's a little bit difference. It's a +4 to +5. So that white did pretty good, but this is an actual true white balance. Now what you do is, whatever the numbers are here, you click, Command C will copy. You go back over here, click where that is, Command V. Is that a little more work? Absolutely. Copy, go to the image I'm going to use, and paste. But that was really close on this one. Some of them are not that close. And some of them you will sit there for several minutes, and several minutes add up when you're just doing 30 to 40 photos. You add that up per photo and it starts to really wear you down. So this makes it to where you can just look, go back and forth between images, and boom, 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 boom. Perfect. This is my flash shot. So you can see the flash shot. Let's do some basic bump stuff. If you've seen any of my stuff before, you know that I have what I call a full bump, and it lifts the shadows. You can see everything twitch, kind of evens out the photo. I want my brightness to be about right, the peak to be about right of center, and so we already matched up the white balance on this. Go to my flash shot. Now you can see that right now the walls, even with the flash shot, for some reason look terrible. I don't know why it looks like that, honestly. It caught me by surprise. I didn't think it looked like that. So full bump to this, and it will get it looking pretty decent. Now we just take that exposure. This is why you shoot in RAW, in case something like this happens. And make it where its exposure is pretty close to this one. So with a flash shot, the set flash temperature is 55 Kelvin. So if I take this right here and go 5500 Kelvin is what I meant. See how nice and clean that looks now? And so if we take this one, we still got a little bit of an orange look. Quite a bit, actually. I think a lot of that's stemming from this. Yeah, see, that cleaned it up quite a bit. I definitely did not have my flash powering as much as I should have. So let's knock some of that orange out. It's looking much better. Still got a lot of orange. Probably a little yellow too. Probably a little red. And two, if you got an issue with the color and you're trying to figure and pinpoint exactly what that color is, this little thing right here, click on that. Go to the, you can see when I'm moving around, over here, watch this right here. It'll move to what the problem is. I take it, I click it, I hold it, and I drag it down. You don't want to drag it down too much because you see the table starts to lose its color. Let me go back to that one. Okay, and then this one is a flash shot. That looks pretty good. Nothing out there, no detail. It's a fogged up window, so there's no big deal. So I'm going to take this into Photoshop and see what I can do with it. I'm going to do this one and this one. Right click, edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. Now everything I use will be cited in the description box below. All links will help out the channel at no extra cost to you. It's just an Amazon affiliate link. Click on it, log in. You don't have to buy what I'm using. You can purchase anything on there, and it's a small way to help the channel out. The question from the person who left the comment, she was freaking out because she didn't understand how to use this. When I'll actually show a video right here, I'll link it right up here, that I did some brown walls, brown ceilings, brown floors, and I did not use this, and I came out okay. So if you don't have one, I think this is like maybe $8, maybe 10. It is very useful. But once I started maturing my skills in editing, I did not need it anymore because I knew what was there when I took the shot, and I knew if I needed it or if I didn't, but I always kept it in my bag. Don't freak out if you don't have certain tools that other people have, or you feel like you can't do something, or you're scared to do something because you don't have what everyone else says you need. Tell them to shut up and prove them wrong by using exactly what you have. You can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. It's easy to learn. Highlight all of them. Edit, auto align layers, make sure this auto is checked. Then I go through and I look for solid lines like this table right here to make sure that they're not jumping. And make it where I can't see it, look for solid lines, the same line that I looked at before, and that's just the window pull, so we're good on that. So as I always do, Alter Option, add layer mask, and it puts a black layer mask over it. Command J will duplicate. Now in this top layer, which is what we're going to be seeing and working with, I'm going to use that to luminosity. So all the way down at the bottom, and the reason I use luminosity is because, and make sure you click back on the layer mask, because if not, you'll be painting over here. You won't be seeing anything you do, but it'll be painting on the image itself. So what I'm doing here, B for brush, and on the brackets right above your enter key, you can make them bigger or smaller, and then you push X and it will toggle back and forth between the black and white over here. These quick keys will make your workflow go just like that, no problem. So you can see on the edges right here where it aligned it at. Don't worry about that. When we bring it back into Lightroom, we will crop it down just a tad on the edges and it'll be perfect. Nobody even know it was there. That's why I put this, the hallway, that's the corner that goes into the hallway back to the bedrooms. I put it on the edge right there because I knew in my editing process I was going to crop that out anyways. So things like that you know you're going to work with later, don't stress about it. Don't try to get it lined up perfect and all this other stuff because you have so much room when you shoot in RAW. So you see in my flash shot how the orange has come out of this. The reason I didn't adjust anything else is because the main thing I was focused on, which is kind of the base, it's kind of the main thought of this video, is that you need to get the walls looking good and matched up very well. The walls are what you need to focus on, and then we'll come back with this normal blending mode ambient shot and we'll blend back in some color, make the table look natural again, which is the whole flambient technique. We're trying to manipulate it to be the perfect photo because you can't just walk in and do it with one image. You have to take multiple. We got B going, B for brush. We got the white tool over here. I just want to make that brush big. So opacity. I'm gonna explain this. Opacity is what is allowed to be seen. No matter how many times you wipe over it and paint, it will only go up to say 75% or 20% or whatever. You can never do more than that. That is opacity. Reveals and hides to a certain limitation of percentage that says only this much can be seen. Flow is different. Flow is how much in one stroke is laid down. So it's like if you take a paintbrush and you scoop up some paint. The flow is the amount of paint that you just put on the brush. Well, if you put a small amount, if you go like this over and over and over again, eventually it will be a solid color of whatever color you scooped up. That's the same. That's how flow works. So you scoop a little or you scoop a lot. I want my flow 100%. I wanted it 15%. I wanted it 50%. And then my opacity, whatever that goes to, the opacity is the limit for everything. It's kind of like your ISO on your camera. Your ISO is manipulating all the light that comes in. Your f-stop and your shutter speed, your f-stop is manipulating the flash light that comes in. So when you pop a flash off, that's why we keep our f-stop at the same. We always want our flash to be the same. And your depth of field. And then you have your shutter speed, which is manipulating the ambient light. And so if you ever do flash photography and portraits, you use those two things, your f-stop and your shutter speed to mess with the ambient, your f-stop to mess with your flash, and then you get a good balance between those, and then your ISO does it all. It controls everything. It's like the big daddy of it all. Why we keep our f-stop the same, but we manipulate our shutter speed because we're bringing up and bringing down the ambient light, and then we keep our f-stop at the same depth of field, 6.3 or 7.1, whatever you want. Pop the flash off, and we always keep that the same because we don't want our depth of field to be changing in the middle of the image. So we always keep that for the entire photo we take. Now you can change it later if you want, or if it's really bright, you need to dumb it down a little bit, and you can f8 or whatever. Or if your lens has a sweet spot of f8, and that's where you know it's going to be the sharpest and the clearest, then keep it at f8. But you're gonna have to adjust other things like your ISO to compensate for making the image darker. So just be aware of that. And if you're new to photography and I just freaked you out with all that stuff, I'm sorry, but I nerd out sometimes and it's really fun. If you have any questions on the stuff I just mentioned, I will make a video specifically for that too. So make sure to leave a comment and I'll get on it because I really enjoy this. Okay, so we are on the layer mask right here. And what we're wanting to do is luminosity mode is light. Holy crap. Oh, I have 100%. See what I'm talking about? I'll show you actually right now. So see, I paint. It gets more and more. All right. Let's go down to 20%. Push enter. Let's see if I'm on it. Oh, I don't want hardness. That's another thing. You want your hardness all the way down to 0. Okay? That way it's really soft around the edges. And actually let's do 10%. So you can see the shadows changing. I love this. It's so cool looking. Like it immediately changes the feel of the room because you're changing light. It's so cool. I definitely nerd out about this stuff. So you can see this nasty color right here where it's kind of like a little dark, but it looks a little weird. That happens a lot with luminosity mode. That's why I duplicate the layer. So then I come back in with the normal blending mode and watch and just add some color to it. And I'll start looking natural again. See how the table's changing now back to the natural color? And the floor is taking on that color that it had in the beginning. We don't want to take away color. Color is a beautiful thing. But we just don't want to let the color dictate how our image looks. And that's what a lot of times it'll do because of the light pollution of the orange nasty lights that are usually in houses. You cannot, I don't care how expensive the house is, you will have problems with nasty orange lights. That's the reason you can use this. It will make your life a little easier where you can just hold it up against the wall, but that's one extra photo you have to take. 9 times out of 10, there will be something white that you can put the eyedropper on and be very, very close to a real good white balance. Because you see right now, this image is perfect. And I'm not even done yet. Now we got the flash, the window pull, grab it, bring it all the way to the top, and now we want to alter option and click layer mask, and it'll put a black one over there. And you can see, and if you ever mess up, push Command Z, or whatever it is on a PC, I'm not sure, I'm sorry. But if you click just layer mask by itself, it puts a white one. And if you ever do that, and you can't figure out what's going on, don't freak out. If you have a white layer mask on there, if you click Command I, it will automatically flip it to black, which is pretty cool. So on our flash shot, go to darken mode. Let's zoom in over here. And then we'll just make this a little smaller. Put our flow. So if you want to change your flow quickly, hold shift and click any of the numbers on the top row. And you'll see it jump to the whole number. And if you do it fast enough, it can jump to the half number too. So like 2, 4. So it went to 24. Or I could just go 5, 6, 7. Very cool. These quick keys will make your life so much easier. Okay, you can see this has got some nasty little color right there. So all I did was press L, and it'll take me to a polygonal lasso tool to where I can just color this back out. Push brush, push X. I see it flip right there. Boom. And that's okay. Command D. And I'll feather this out right there. Feather it out so there's nothing weird. And this is not a serious super window that I have to get perfect. It's a window with a wreath on it. It's a foggy window. It doesn't matter. I just like doing window pulls on everything, even if it's a little bathroom. That's just me. Alright, so we didn't use this image. So what it's going to say when you choose to flatten the image is if you want to discard. You want to discard hidden layers. Okay. You can always discard it. It's not going to mess anything up. Command S. So what this does, you can see it saving at the bottom here. It takes the image we just created and then brings it into Lightroom as a new image, which is amazing. It's like a seamless little back and forth. If you don't have Photoshop or Lightroom and you want to help the channel out in another way and subscribe to it, I pay $29.99 a month and I get every app that Adobe offers. You can click the link down below. That's a little affiliate link, a way to help me out. Back in here to Lightroom, click the After Edits, straightens the walls, it crops it a little bit. You can see this is still not straight because for some reason, Lightroom has not got their crap together. So I have to come down here and click Update every time. So now we can kind of hover over this and you can see I'm looking at the refrigerator and this, the door frame, pretty dang close. And then I look at the crop, I'll bring it in just a little bit, checking the edges, make sure there's nothing going crazy or anything. And then here's my finished image. It's simple. You got color back in the table, your walls look good, you don't have a nasty orange cast from the walls, you don't have a nasty blue light coming in from outside that looks bad. You have an overall good image that will work and no agent will complain. And we did it by using a little gray card. Also, if you have a stand and you have your flash on a stand, you can do this same technique with that too to make sure you get the proper and perfect balance for your flash shot too. That's just an extra shot for each one that you have to take. So that's completely up to you. You cannot and will not use a gray card for window pulls. You don't need them because the outside temperature of sun is the same as your flash. 5500 Kelvin is the daylight, so it's going to be pretty close. So you don't have to worry about it. Well, thank y'all for joining me again. If you liked today's video, feel free to smack that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up and hit that bell notification so you can see every time I put out a new video. And if you have any questions, never hesitate to leave a comment and say, hey, what about this? Because I will make a video just like today, specifically for you. I'll see y'all next time.